approximately, I understand, 50 made and probably less than 25 left in the world today. It is a fairly rare vehicle. I imagine it's worth probably $20,000-$25,000.
How long have you owned this automobile?
I'm on the automobile approximately 2 years.
Texas. Scott, is this your car we're sitting by?
Yes, sir.
Would you describe the car for us, please?
It's a 1967 GT350 Shelby. It's got a Hypo 289, stock motor. Do quite a bit of autocross and road racing with it. A lot of fun with it.
Did you run it out at Hallett the other day?
Yes, sir. I run out there and got about the 4th fastest time of the day. Thought I did pretty good.
And you won your class, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Very fine. It's a lovely automobile. Is there anything unusual about this car that makes it different from an average, if you can call average, Shelby GT350?
Not really. It's just got a 3-deuce intake on it that is different. It's not a stock intake, but it is different than the rest.
Very fine, Scott. Thanks a lot. These are Bosses and other Ford products.
About twice. I was trying to follow someone.
Yeah.
So I kind of held back and then I got sideways right over here once because I accelerated out. I was going to see how soon I could accelerate out the corner. I was too soon.
Outstandingly beautiful looking automobile you've got here. Tell us a little bit about it, please.
This is a 1968 G350 Shelby convertible. There was only 404 of this car built in '68 when Shelby built them. It has factory air on it, and supposedly they think there's a 20 that got factory air. We've owned the car about 5 years now. We bought it from a second owner, a doctor in Springfield, Illinois. We completely took the car down, repainted it, put everything back as original as possibly could be, down to the battery, the tires, the wheels, the filter and the air breather, and it just real proud of the little car. There are a lot of hours and tender loving care has went into it, and we do get it out and drive it and play with it. We're going to take it to the SAC Nationals this year, and be the first time we'll have it there in the concourse judging and see what happens.
Well, it's certainly a beautiful automobile, and I feel you'll place very high today. What, just quite incidentally, what do you value this automobile at, Jerry?
I would say somewhere between 15 and 20,000. That seems to be. There's been a few sold that I know of that's this quality of car, and that seems to kind of be the going price, somewhere between $15,000 and $20,000.
Is yours for sale?
No way. No way.
Very good. Thank you, Jerry. Hoffman, tell us about this event today.
Well, today is the 9th annual Shelby meet here in Tulsa, and it looks like a lot of people have turned out today. One of the most popular places out here today is the refreshment stand, and Jim Wicks, who's president or one of the directors of the Shelby Club here in the central part of the states, called up Carroll Shelby and asked Mr. Shelby if he'd enjoy coming out today. Well, Carroll is tied up in with Lee Iacocca at Chrysler working on a project, and he couldn't make it today, but instead of him personally showing up, he decided that he asked Jim what he could do to help out the folks today, and Jim said, well, you could pay for the drinks. And so all the drinks today that all the participants out here are enjoying are free, paid for by Carroll Shelby. And
that's outstanding. It's one of the few times that I can say I get bragging rights now for the next 6 months or so that I got a drink on Old Shell.
That's right. That's right.
27 car. I've just raced it and drove it on the street ever since. It's about all I can tell you.
How many Shelby-made automobiles do you currently own?
I have 9 Shelbys right now, Bosses, and a couple Tigers. That's the main.
Do you have a Cobra?
427 Cobra, yes.
How many Shelby-made automobiles have you ever owned in your life that you know of?
Oh, I guess in excess of at least 60.
There, folks, is your ultimate Shelby fan. Thank you, Wayne. Whenever you're in and around any Shelby meet, invariably the Oklahoma region will come up in the conversation, and I'm talking with Jim Wicks, the chairman of this event today. Jim, how long have you been involved in Shelby activities?
This has been something we've been doing here this is our 9th annual event. My love for the car started many years ago when I was 15 and 16 years old, and 65 and 66. It's been sort of a dream come true to me to own one of these cars. I really can't say what it's meant to me to be able to own one or two.
What kind of Shelby automobiles do you own?
I own a 289 AC Cobra and a 70 GT350 convertible.
Outstanding. How many people are here at this event this weekend?
I'm sure we have well over 1,000 people in attendance.
Now, would you describe for us a little bit about this weekend's activities, what all transpired?
We opened on a Thursday with a come in, get acquainted, get registered day. Had an open day, was our Howlett Motor Racing Circuit open track. Out there we saw about 80 cars run around in a non-competitive type atmosphere with no trophies being awarded. And then we turned the rest of the program into a solo one open track event with one car at a time running the course for trophies against time. Saturday we ran Tulsa International Raceway, which is a drag strip. We had approximately 130 cars compete out there. Our show today, we've got somewhere in the neighborhood of 160 show cars with an overall attendance of over 300 cars at the event.
Outstanding. It boggles your mind, doesn't it? How far away did people come for this event?
We've had people here from California, Utah, Missouri, Michigan. We've had people here in attendance from over 20 different states.
What's on the calendar for your next event?
Next year will be our 10th annual event. We're looking just to, because it's our 10th, we'd really like to do something big. After the way it's turned out this weekend, it's going to be an awful rough act to follow.
Well, Jim, I've heard comments from just about everybody here as to how professionally managed and operated this event is. I'm sure that your people deserve all the accolades that they can handle. I've just heard it from everybody, from Lou Spencer, Austin Craig. Everybody in attendance is just absolutely pleased with what you've done here. It certainly says a lot for your organizing abilities.
Well, we're very proud to be able to put on the kind of show and event that we have. We've had a lot of help. We've got about a dozen good people that really pitch in and get down on their hands and knees and dig for us. And without their assistance, it just wouldn't be possible.
All right. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you. car we have attend the Mid-America Shelby meet is this fine example of a 427 SC Cobra CSX 3010. This was the 1968 A Production National Championship car.
Steve Saline at the Mid-America Shelby meet, and I'm sure a lot of people would like to know, Steve, what was the idea, the original concept?
Well, I think that it was very similar to what Carroll Shelby did back in the 60s with the contacts they had at Ford Motor Company and the performance era, if you would, coming on back in the 80s. The opportunity really presented itself to work with Ford SVO and build a special edition Mustang. And the original concept, a lot of the SVO parts on the car, initially we got away from that because it required a lot of tooling on our part. And then little bit by little bit now we've been putting more SVO parts back on it. For example, the 87 now, the brake system and everything now we get from SVO.
Well, your cars certainly are competitive, and as you can see, Steve certainly goes in style. It certainly is a pleasure to have you here and giving us some instructions in the driving school.
Well, I want to thank you. It's really an honor being here, and I've always enjoyed Hallett Racetrack. It's
Brent and Terry, and we'd like them to give us a description of each of the cars that they've brought here today. And you want to start out with this one?
Okay, well this car here was originally built by Holman Moody for Ford Motor Company, for not necessarily the FX racing, for the heads-up match racing. The Dodges were running about 800 to 1,000 pounds lighter than the Fords were, and kind of whooping them at the drag strips on the legal AFX circuit. So they come out with these lighter cars. They made 8 of them. This is Gas Ronda's car. This is the first one built, the first of the real funny cars. And we've been having a lot of fun with it. We restored it last year. This here's the Phil Bonner Daddy Warbucks car. It come out of the same 8 cars. Phil Bonner campaigned this car mainly in the South and the East. He done quite well with the car. Both of these cars run mid and low 8s in their day. They initially put these cars, when they first came out, in C-Fuel dragster because there was no class for the cars. And Gas Ronda went out and won C-Fuel dragster with the car, won the championship with it. And that just started a whole new era of led to today's funny cars.
What engines were they running at that time?
They were running the fuel-injected single overhead cam 427s, usually anywhere from 90 to 99% nitro. They tried 4-speeds in them, but they just couldn't shift gears fast enough. And that's when they redesigned the C6 automatic where it could take these kind of loads. They're running in excess 170 mile an hour with them.
I imagine engines along those lines are a little bit hard to come by.
What we're doing, we're building up the 460s because of the fact we match race them a lot. We do make an awful lot of passes with the cars. Ultimately, whenever we restore the cars just for display only and no races, we will go back with the injected overhead cam engines.
I understand you have one, at least one at your place.
Yeah.
Will that be sometime either on display or in a?
Yeah. It'll be. We'll be putting it in the vehicle. Well, as soon as we get tired of match racing, or people get tired of seeing them.
How about the third car?
Okay, that's Paul Moore's car. It was one of the original 10 AFX Mustangs built by Holman Moody for the AFX drag team. And it's got a 580-inch, or 548-inch 460 in it. Runs low 9s, high 8s.
We're visiting today with Austin Craig, and I thought we'd have a couple comments from him. One thing that I've always wondered, Austin, is how do you keep your intensity, or why do you come to these functions? I've been to several regional or national meets, and you are there, and your enthusiasm is always overwhelming.
Well, we started the club in 1972. We were in Clinton. There's nothing really we could get into. There weren't parts availability. People would have cars for the whole time that they owned them. Never see another Shelby, Tiger, Cobra, or Ford GT. And the idea when it first started, enthusiasm is infectious. You see people, you see them, win prizes, you see them get together and trade ideas and everything, and it just grows. I, of course, enjoy coming to Oklahoma because I went to school here, and getting the chance to come back to Oklahoma and make this meet into what I feel is the best Ford Shelby meet in the country.
Tulsa, Oklahoma. That's another good car. These guys put you on a good show here. They're good people. They know how to run their cars. Get ready, folks. Here for some fun. Here we go. They're staging.
No, Susan's gonna go swimming. Jerry, tell you about the stuff for us to But it's got a GT40 that was literally scratch built.
there first, too. Hold up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they moved away like 5 minutes.
All right.
Are we going to wait till late to take off? Well, there's us.
Then we can get back.
Thanks for sharing. Thank
More
you.
film.
This is fun. This is
Jim, you're making headway.
And it's identified you as a junior member. And so everyone could be acknowledged. The letter is, Dear Rickster, I would like to take this moment to personally thank you from the bottom of my 5-0 drain plugs for your support and participation in my driving program at the 20th annual Shelby meeting. The improvement in your driving skills has taken a turn for the better, and since attending our school at Howard in the past 2 years, we do hope to see you next year. Your mentor and friend, Quickster, John B. P.S. Next year, I think you will benefit more from the program if you will sit at
traffic back there.
Those brakes take that all day?
All day.
Golly. That's astonishing.
Ford and Shelby special guest of honor for you tonight, the GT500 KR.
At the 45th Mid-America Ford and Shelby Nationals, and we've got some participants here that have been coming a long time, and we were just kind of curious as to, you know, what's your name?
I'm Michael, boss.
And where are you from?
We're from Marysville. Oh, this group is from Marysville, Kansas.
Marysville, Kansas. This is the Boss family, right?
Yeah.
So how long have you been coming up?
Well, off and on since '99, but we actually came back in the '80s. In 1987, I have a trophy from way back then. Awesome. That was a different location then.
Right, yeah.
Here at the Marriott. Yeah. This probably wasn't here then, but
yeah.
Well,
that's cool. So you've been coming for so long. What keeps you guys coming back?
Oh, just having a great time, you know.
Yeah.
See a lot of cars, all the racing. It's always fun to go to.
Yeah.
Love to go to Hallett and then the drag strip.
So do you consider yourself a user family, a car user family more than a car show family kind of thing?
Definitely, yeah. We like to drive ours. We have some old cars. We brought some newer ones this year, but
yeah.
We normally bring some '69 to '71 Mustangs, Boss Mustangs. We have. Right. Got our name on it, you know.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Well, thanks for having you. Yeah. We look forward to you guys coming back.
Yeah.
So here we are at the 45th Mid-America Ford and Shelby Nationals, and these Gami pants are my answer to the short shorts you saw a little bit earlier in the film. So the reason we're wearing these is here we are at 63 degrees in June, which does not happen. So we're really enjoying the weather, but it is a little chilly. So here we are with Dan Riley, and Dan has been coming to the event for how many years, Dan?
Missed the first one.
Missed the first. So what do you remember about the second one then? What do you remember? What happened?
Well, I had my Hertz car, and I'd had it about a year, and it wasn't painted yet. The front half was primer, the back was the right color, black and gold. Looked good driving away, but yeah, I was proud to have it. We went to Oklahoma City to the show and had a great time, and you know, evolved the car from there and finally got it painted. Started drag racing it when they started doing that, and did that until '86 with the car, and had an accident with the car and wasn't able to do that anymore. So had multiple cars after that. I guess I drag raced for 35 years, and then started coming out here to Hallett, and John Kane probably was the biggest influencer. Says, Dan, you really need to learn how to drive these cars and do this, and he put me in his car a couple of times, and that's probably what sparked me to get started in vintage.
Yeah. So how long have you been racing vintage?
10 years.
10 years, and this is his vintage car right behind it. And we're looking for a lot more time in the future. And anything else you want to say? What keeps you coming back?
You know, they talk about Ford, family, and fun. There's one more word that starts with an F I want to throw in there, and it's friends, because the cars are great to go out and drive and have fun and do all you can in them to the best of your ability. But for me, it's the friends I've made at this event over the years, and still making lots of good friends, and that's what draws me back, is just like beating Bryce, you know, and other folks. It just brings you back because you get to talk about old times and make new times and memories and all that stuff. And I enjoy that so much. It's people, it's friends, and I think they ought to throw that in.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good addition.
But still love it, you know, getting older now, but still love to mash the gas, and every chance I get, I want to be out there.
All right, well, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So here we are at the Mid-America Ford and Shelby Nationals, and we're with the Fowler family from Louisiana. So I was just kind of curious, how many years have you guys been coming? 13th year. 13th year, all right. So what car has been your favorite so far? The 427 original Cobra that's here. And then what keeps bringing you guys back to the event?
All the cars.
All the cars and all the events. All right. Well, we really appreciate it. And the track. He likes the racetrack and drive trip and likes it all. If you've noticed anything about our event, it is a user's event. That's what we like about it. So glad to have you guys here and look forward to seeing you here. All right, buddy. Good luck. Thank you. Perfect. Richard Glover with his 69 Torino 428 Cobra Jet, and he's been coming to this event for how long?
Since about 1981.
Been coming since 1981, and if I'm not mistaken, has drag raced this car just about every year, if not every year.
Just about every year.
Yeah. And so, what keeps you coming back to the event, Richard?
Well, it's just something I look forward to from one year to the next. I always have a lot of fun, meet a lot of great people, and see a lot of great cars.
Yeah, a lot of fun meeting. Yeah, meet a lot of fun, meeting great people, seeing great cars, and he's using that car on the track. He loves it, and he wins car shows with it. Take a look.
I bought this car new in 1969.
Bought the car new in 1969.
And it's still mostly all original.
All original. Very nice car.
Thank you.
And thank you for your time, sir. All right, so here we are. We're still celebrating the 45th, and we're with Greg Reynolds and Tony Shores. And Greg represents the Corinthian Vintage Auto Racing Club, the CVAR group, and Tony's representing the Heartland Vintage Racing Group, the HVRA. And so these guys help bring all these awesome vintage cars out to the event, and I wanted to have a little history lesson from Greg on how did we get started doing Hallett at Mid-America?
Well, if I could be wrong, but if I recall correctly, you know, the event started backyard event, car show thing back in the 70s. It grew into a bigger car show. Then they incorporated drag racing when they started coming to Tulsa. In the early 80s, Dana Mounty was a local STCA racer with our club. He also was a Shelby enthusiast. And he set up through Marty Marina, who ran the track at that time for the owner, an event for us to come out and put our cars on the track. And as that grew, I got involved, helping him kind of coordinate it to some extent. And as the years went on, the event become 1-day event to a 2-day event to a 3-day event. And as I myself got involved with vintage racing, I saw the opportunity, or we thought that we could bring some of those cars here and kind of showcase our sport of vintage racing and kind of be ambassadors to that sport and kind of put a show on for people and have them something to look at rather than just open track. We were really wanting to do fender to fender like we do in the vintage race. So that's kind of how that grew.
Cool. And then when did HBR get engaged with this, Tony?
About 4 years ago, we started being more active with this, but it was all because of Greg. Through this event, I started in vintage racing. Got to know Greg quite a bit, and which allowed HBR to be what it is today because of that mentorship. And so through that, we've been able to bring more people, more cars every year.
You guys personally coming back to this and putting on the effort, is it just to grow the club, or is it more of an enthusiast and the Ford families and fun kind of attitude?
I think it's, for me, it's the people. It's the people that we've grown up around and we share our sport, our car passion with. That's a lot of it for me.
Yeah. The people, seeing the faces, giving back to our sport.
All right, so here we are with the 45th Mid-American Ford and Shelby Nationals, and we're with the founder, Mr. Jim Wicks, right? So Jim started this event in '74, I believe, year I was born. So anyway, tell us a little bit of history there.
It started out as the idea of getting people together that were like-minded and enjoyed the aspects of particularly the Shelby Mustang and performance Fords, with the idea of maybe having some sort of get-together to where people could discuss their thoughts. And at that point there was a lot of worry about, well, where do you find parts, how do we communicate to where we can kind of work as a group together for a better goal. And so I thought, well, I'll send out a postcard. I had accumulated 76 names of friends I had made and people I had chased down to get their information because of what they were driving. And I thought that this will really be good to do. And out of that 76 postcards that my wife Terry sat down and addressed, we had 16. We had about 30 people and 16 cars show up. So that's what started it as a picnic atmosphere, and from there we've graduated on to being a part of just about every major performance Ford car launch since 1982.
Yeah. So it's grown over the years for sure under your leadership and direction for sure. And so now, as with all organizations, we're doing a transition, and so now we're starting to get a younger generation coming in to help, and now Justin is starting to take over the reins of this thing, and so it's working out really well so far. And Justin, so now you're taking it over here, so what do you think about it in the future? Where are we going?
To carry on, I'd like to basically, continue Jim's definitely direction and make sure that we have an event that's here for all the seasoned veterans of this event and cars in general, and then but also for my generation and my son's generation and grandkids' generations. We want to make sure that we're continuing to grow this event and make it definitely a destination for the entire family, and make sure that we have things to do, that the experiences that they want to have happen, whether it's racing on the track, whether it's on the drag strip, whether it's in the car show, or just enjoying the networking that Jim started all those years ago out there at the parking lot or out on the track, or enjoying talking with the sponsors and seeing that these new cars that are launching year in and year out. We get to see those, and we get to see them before they launch and talk with the engineers and see what's going on and what's coming up and what the enthusiasts want to see out of the next generation of cars. So I want to continue that and make sure that we have a spot for everyone for years to come to enjoy themselves and do our motto of Ford's Families and Fun.
And Dan Riley added friends on there.
Oh, yeah.
Ford's family. Yeah.
I like it.
There you go.
I like it.
Well, it's all about the friendships that we've made, lifelong memories for many, many people that have come here over these years. And I look forward to seeing that continue and working with everybody to make sure that we can all come and enjoy this and have a great time.
So from the director's mouth, then, I've been asked a few times, are we doing this next year?
Yes.
Absolutely. Okay.
Absolutely. I mean, 45th, and we're going and beyond. So I mean, that's our goal. And to carry on what Jim said, I agree. I come to this event, and I've heard it many times that this is a family event, and you come here and see your family just like you do at Christmas or Thanksgiving or any other celebration. We have people that are taking off vacation just to come to this because it's family. And you want to come here and you want to see the cars and you want to see their kids that have grown up, or the parents that have grown up here. So,
all right, here's to 45 more. Thank you.
Let's rock. Thank you.